that an excellent day for a podcast is not for the weak of heart. It contains explicit language, roller coaster-like tangents, and the occasional breakout into song. All opinions expressed are just that, opinions, and belong solely to those who speak them. Listener discretion is advised. Spoilers ahead.
If you got a fart, if you squeeze cheese, let me know, okay? I'll hit the fan.
Welcome to Squeezing the Cheese, a tribute to the cheesy side of 80s horror. Here are your hosts, Danny C. and David.
Hit the fan.
Well, welcome, friends, family, fiends, and fellow nerds, to episode 1 of Squeezing the Cheese, a spin-off series where Danny C. and I talk about some of the greatest cheese that horror has to offer. In this inaugural episode, we went with 2 movies that we've been meaning to talk about for quite some time. And it just so happens that both of these star the very lovely and talented Kelli Mallroney. Now, with this being our first crack at this, things ended up going a little longer than expected. So at least for this episode, we decided to split it up into 2 parts. With this, part 1, in which we get into the 1984 classic Night of the Comet. And part 2, coming up in about 2 days, we're going to get into the 1986 Chopping Mall. So finish up this episode, then come on down to excellentdayforapodcast.com and send us a text letting us know what other cheesy horror you want us to discuss. Enjoy!
Great intro.
Great fucking intro. Way to go. Hey Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Danny. How about yourself?
Oh, fantastic. JC and Joe T are out and about and doing other things.
Living the dream.
I mean, I wish I was Joe T. My man's in Vegas right now.
Hanging out with Tom Matthews, looking at the sphere.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't he going to a concert out there?
I don't know. Like I said, all I remember is between the 3 of you, you have a combined 7 weeks of vacations going on, so.
Well, this breaks it up a little bit. One's in Vegas, another one will be in Maui, another one will be in Key West, another one might be taking a road trip to go see some other horror conventions that are not in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area.
It's going to be weird. Yeah, anybody listening to this, yeah, shoot us a message, because I'm torn between Scarefest in Lexington and Flashback Weekend in Chicago.
Chicago.
Let me know which one you'd recommend.
I mean, it's a tough choice based off the lineup so far.
Yeah, I mean, just on head count, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Chicago, but I just feel like I would enjoy Kentucky better. We'll see.
Kentucky's not a bad area.
Well, I want to live out in the middle of nowhere. Now, I don't know anything about Lexington, but I just assume most of Kentucky's
farmland,
backwoods, deliverance shit, my kind of people.
And when is the one in Kentucky? Did you say October?
I think that one's mid to late October, and the one up at O'Hare is the first week August.
So pretty much the one.
I should check and see if I have the time. Just fuck it, doing both.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have the time, you have the money. You got one that's probably your guests are probably set, and the other one in Kentucky, you're probably going to have more guests that could be announced later on down the line as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hear the place is bigger, so, I would think, even though they got a nice chunk of people there, it seems like they have room for more, so.
Okay.
But we'll play it by ear. So yeah, everyone out there, let us know what you think.
So Dave, we're here tonight to record.
How is it the 2 that are related, the two that kind of got the wheels going on this whole show to begin with, and yet we've never done an episode together?
We never came together to do an episode.
Hanging out with those fuckers doing things all the time, and
well, it's good to break it up a little bit.
But here we are.
JC has his horror gems that he's doing on YouTube.
Yeah, I
80s horror gems.
I have something that I want to get started on. It's just a couple details I'm trying to figure out as far as which way to do it. And then once I figure that out, I'll hit record and see what comes out of my face hole.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd say at least 6 months, possibly up to a year ago, we kept talking about how we need to do something. And yeah, as much as we tried coming up with these brilliant, hey, nobody's ever done this before, we realized, who are we kidding? And let's just talk about cheesy 80s horror.
And not just cheesy 80s horror, double feature cheesy 80s horror.
That kind of fell into place, and we just threw 2 movies out there that we've been talking about, and they both just happen to be Kelli Mallroney vehicles.
The Kelli Mallroney?
Yes, the Kelli Mallroney. And yeah, we figured we owed it to her because she gave us a second chance. Well, nah, she didn't give us a second chance. She demanded a retake on our photos when we met her at the con, last year?
Yeah, so we met her at New Jersey Horror Con last August, so August 2024, New Jersey Horror Con. Such a sweetheart.
Yeah, she let us all get in on the pics, and, her person went and shot a bunch, and she immediately snatched the phone up and was like, let me look at that. Went through, and she's like, we could do better. Pose again. Didn't she even orchestrate? Like, all right, you stand here, you do this, and...
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember, or if I'm thinking of someone else.
I mean, she had a whole group of guys around her, so...
Yeah, so...
I let her make all the moves and decisions.
So as far as meeting people at cons, I would definitely say the 2 most committed to the whole photo portion of it is definitely, I'd say, a tie between Kelli and Shawnee.
Oh.
They love their photos with fans.
I just had my first Shawnee experience at Monster Mania.
No, you didn't.
62?
You were in and out in 5 minutes. You did not have the Shawnee.
I might have been
just jealous.
I might have been the last person for the day, but it was a nice 5 minutes of discussion.
That was Sunday, right?
Saturday. It was the end. It was closing Saturday.
I knew it was towards the end of the day. I just forget. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I forgot we were working all day Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about con talk. We're gonna obviously waiting for everybody to be home and or in town so we could do our full episode on our double shot of. They still do that on the radio? We're gonna give you a double shot of, but double dose of con talk.
Whenever this episode drops, before or after our con talk. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
New Jersey Horror Con and Monster Mania 62 was fun. It was a blast. Long time.
Yeah.
At a convention for one weekend. I think I counted like 30 plus hours. So.
And then 2 weeks prior, you had another
full weekend.
We were pretty much there all day on Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Yeah.
But hey, Kelli Mallroney.
Yes.
2 cheesy but cult classics. I would consider them
2 amazingly cheesy 80s films, and again, we just kind of threw them out there and realized, hey, they're both Kelli Mallroney in a mall movies. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we're stalling to see how long it takes. We're almost 10 minutes into this. Let's see if anybody guessed which 2 movies we're doing. So, which one you want to start off with? So
I'm gonna go with the one that's older. So we got one that's 41 years old.
Yeah, we're going to go chronologically. So we are going to go with the 1984 classic, Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet. To me, I don't know when you saw this, Dave. I remember I recently saw this within the last 10 years.
I think it's... Watching it again, I realized when it first came on cable, I'd say within a year, I probably saw it damn near 50 times. Like, any chance I could, I just watch it over and over again. Watching it again the other night, I realized it's been at least 20, possibly 25 years since I watched it.
Wow. Yeah, I think it had to be for me. Maybe 10 years ago. I don't even know how I caught it. It might have been I fell asleep on the couch or something, and then I woke up and the movie was on.
Everything was red?
Everything was red on the screen, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, did I ever see this? What movie is this? And I guess I don't think the reason why I don't remember ever seeing it in the video stores way back in the day is because the video store I worked at, Hometown Video, didn't carry it in our store. It was one of the few ones. And the other movie we're going to get into and talk about when Kelli was in, that one was there.
All about the video store.
It was all about the video store. But yeah, Night of the Comet was not one that...
I never even thought of that because obviously this isn't even an alleged thing. Who the fuck didn't have their videotapes of like 3 or 4 movies that they pulled from HBO? So
you hit record.
Yeah, that shit was legal.
Yeah.
I ain't pulling alleged on this. But yeah, like I said, between every time it was on and then when I taped it, I felt like there was times where I was watching at least once a day. And I don't know what it was. It just, I just loved the and I was, 12, 13 by the time it came on cable. So, I think I have an idea of why I was obsessed with it, aside of the whole, I guess sci-fi element of it. But,
And not just Kelli Mallroney and Catherine Mary Stewart, right?
And that's the weird thing, too, that I always... I feel like, not saying it's a deal breaker, but I was always drawn more towards like darker hair, from dirty blonde to jet black hair. And yet, nothing against Catherine, but like Kelli, she was just adorable. I think it was more just that
girl next door look,
that and just that like free spirit, like, hey, everything's cool. I mean, shit, it took her 45 minutes in this movie to even believe something bad went down.
Right.
But yeah, I just always got a kick of, like I said, that whole free spirit attitude she had. And maybe part of it too was the whole, we're already jumping to like mid-movie, but the whole thing about, maybe it was a bad idea to have this on.
Yes, Night of the Comet is on in the background about 25-30 minutes in. So,
and spoiler alert, there's a dream sequence in the movie, and that's now playing. But yeah, that whole conversation about like every guy I ever liked, and you always ended up with him. I think part of that hit me too. Like there was always somebody to beat me out for that special girl.
Right. And then Regina, who plays obviously Catherine plays Regina, Kelli plays Samantha, but Regina at the time was the one that was kind of taking all the guys away, and Samantha Kelli in this movie was one that was a little disappointed with that, but they kind of broke chops about it.
And it's weird too, because she kind of came off as more like the straight character, like not saying she wasn't playful or anything, but she always played the more just like serious and things like that. Whereas you had Samantha, who was again the playful character and all. Like you almost feel like she would have been the one to always end up with a guy.
Yeah.
Where the other one was, where Regina or Reggie or Reg was always the, just like I said, kind of not straight laced, but just takes everything seriously, very matter of fact. Like she, in my opinion, she always came off as the one like studied and paid attention to things, like not tomboyish, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we should go to the beginning then.
Well, Kelli Mallroney, again, she's in a cheerleading outfit, and I think
that helped too.
Right, and then a couple years prior to that, well, it was like 2 years prior to that, she was as a cheerleader. She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which was her first movie.
Her first cameo.
Yeah. So, how ironic is that she's in a cheerleading outfit in that movie, and then she's in the Comet in the different cheerleading outfit. But how ironic! But this is an apocalyptic movie. Everybody's waiting to see the comet.
Yeah, the big comet passing, which this movie was 2 years before the last passing of Halley's comet, and I guess they figured with all the hype building up for that, they were like, well, here's an idea for an apocalyptic movie. Yeah, it worked. They never did fully explain what happened, though. I guess it was just space junk that was trailing the comet and it just sprinkled it into our atmosphere, or did I always miss that part where they said exactly what it was, other than, calcium powder or something?
Yeah. And if you were not behind, some type of steel structure, then you wouldn't have been protected.
Then you would have
evaporated.
You would have bricked.
You would have bricked into dust. You would have brick dusted.
Or if you just moderately got exposed, then you became a slowly rotten zombie type character,
which is unique.
Yeah. So beginning of the movie, you establish that Reggie works at a movie theater, and I just got a kick out of it because I almost forgot he existed. They show her and she's playing, what was it, Tempest?
Yeah.
And apparently really into her gaming.
As she's working in the movie theater.
She had the top 10 of the Tempest scores. Well, except for apparently somebody beat her out. And who was it? Some DMK character?
Yeah, DMK.
But the part that I completely forgot about was Stanley Brock playing the manager of the movie theater, of UHF fame. As, who was he? The Weird Al's uncle or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
Just totally capitalizing on the whole Comet thing. What was it? They were like tinfoil
Oh,
like headpieces,
like the planets on the
and
he's trying to make a deal with everybody to sell off the gear that like was handmade.
Yeah, and it was something like what? Like it was like $3, $4, and $7, and I think the difference was the size of the balls on the top of the thing.
Yeah. This one's shiny.
But yeah, you see him pimping it out and then gets all pissed off because Reg is gaming on the clock. So yeah, apparently she's did they ever fully say what it was? Or so Reg, I guess, is just friends with benefits with the projectionist at the theater?
Yeah. I was going to make a quick $15.
Yeah.
I love the I'm going to pay you $15 to make it with you.
Yeah, make it.
Wasn't that a song? I want to make it with you. Was that like Bread or something? Yeah, I think it's one of those songs. But that terminology, make it with you, was that like an 80s thing?
Yeah. Or like making out. I feel like there was a period in the 80s where that just implied like full on fucking. They're like, oh yeah, we made out. It was like, to me, it was always a full like hardcore kissing session. Yeah, there was a period where, oh yeah, we made out or we made it. And yeah, that just meant they was fucking. So, yeah, so it's the night of the comet. So then we get over to Samantha. And so Samantha and Regina are sisters. I guess parents are divorced. So
Daddy's in the military.
Yeah, and what branch was he? Was he a Marine?
I forget.
Or I feel like I heard either Marine or Navy SEAL, or like some special ops type thing. But anyhow, yeah, military dad, so he's always out and about. So they're living with stepmom, and stepmom turns out is banging Chuck. She won't admit it,
The neighbor.
but Samantha definitely knows about this. And so yeah, while Reg is she's what was it, going to the observatory with her class or something?
Yeah.
Or that was the alibi given.
And
but
considering this is filmed in California, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what observatory that would have been?
I do not.
It would have been the same observatory that they used in Midnight Madness, probably. I'm just saying.
We still got to get to that one.
There's a multiverse for that.
I do have another multiverse thing, but I'll save this one for later. Yeah, because apparently stepmom, Doris, is super strict.
Yeah, she wants Reg home. No bullshit.
Yeah, she wants full control in the meeting. Or she wants the girls at home. Meanwhile, she's going to go out and bang Chuck. So,
well, she's going to watch the Comet first.
Well, yeah.
And then she's going to go get banged by Chuck.
Well, I'm assuming based on where they were found later, he probably at least had a digit in there, but...
Yeah, until the dust settled.
So, yeah, Samantha's at the house, and, she goes and relays Reggie's alibi. And then... What was it? Oh, so yeah, Doris is like, oh, you're going to hang out for the Comet party? And like, yeah, she's like, oh, why? So I could see,
Chuck sticking his hand down your pants
or something like that. And leading up to like one of the greatest lines ever, because she was like, oh, Chuck's just a nice guy and all that. and what did she say? What did Samantha tell her or ask her?
Why do you want an asshole? You already got one of those.
Yeah. You were born with an asshole, Doris. Why do you need Chuck?
Yeah, why do you need Chuck? There you go.
To which Doris cracks her a good one.
This whole movie revolves around people slapping the shit out of each other. Did it not?
Yeah.
I mean,
which I guess is where Art got the idea.
But Doris slaps Samantha and then turn around. Samantha slaps her back, and then Doris turns around and knocks her clean, lays her out.
Yeah, cleans her clock. So
she gets pissed off, and now she leaves the house.
And she goes, what? They're like the shed or something.
Yeah.
What was it?
Later on down the line in the movie, you find out she went to some type of steel shed, obviously, and
yeah. But she wasn't hanging out with that bitch anymore.
And Reg was earning her $15 by hanging with
making it
with the film, the projectionist that had to give a film reel off to a guy for $100 and I was hoping to get it back. So
yeah,
during this time is when the comet goes down, when them two disappear to go do whatever they got to do, and then they come back after the comet hits, and the fucking effects that they showed in the sky.
Oh, it was 80s wonderful.
Oh, that was, you got to realize that
for the time, I mean, for Nintendo, that was advanced. So
we're going to get into this a little bit, but this movie was made for $700,000, right?
Which I know that's light for a movie, even 40 years ago. Like, if the movie's under $1 million, it's fucking pennies and all. But see, I keep thinking of like Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity. Now, granted, they didn't have nearly the production value based on the subgenre, but, being done for tens or hundreds of, a couple $100,000.
And yeah, I just feel like 700,000 back then would have been more, but apparently
That's how much craft services are on movies today.
Yeah. But yeah, it just feels like they would have gotten more out of it. And I get like shooting in LA, and I'm sure we'll come back around to it, that the street shots. Now you got 28 Days Later, where
streets are empty, you got that red dust look that's settled in the background, and
yeah,
it's like a haze going over the background, and it's like you got that dust coming, the light coming through, and that red dust effect.
But like with 28 Days Later, they said they tried to find I think they said they got like a lesser busy day in London, and then they just kind of CG'd the rest of it out. Whereas this, they actually, found a super light day. And I think they said some of the B-roll of like the streets and shit, they did on Christmas Day. They just pulled enough strings that they were able to like stop traffic for like a few minutes at a time just to get those shots. Handful of shots. So,
but the shots of the sky lighting up with the effects. It was cheese. It was hardcore fucking cheese.
It's like Microsoft Paint before Microsoft Paint.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time.
And even in the intro when they're going through and everybody's getting excited to see the comment, there was always I saw that possibly it was a very young LL Cool J in the beginning credits.
From what I heard, it was like
possibly, allegedly.
From what I hear, if that was him, they said it was just like moments before or after he first got signed. So
right.
We're talking young.
This is like 1983.
Yeah.
LL Cool J, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, until I came down here and you showed the clip, because I heard about it, but I never got around to going back to watch the point in reference. I mean, he had as much of a cameo as Ron Jeremy did in Ghostbusters.
Right, it was like the same. It was the same feel, like Ghostbusters, but came out, obviously in the same year.
A bunch of people in town looking up at the sky, and hey, look at
they're all getting ready. You're all getting ready. They're cheering on, and so you get that feel.
So you get the amazing 80s light effects, and then all of a sudden it's, may or may not have been an inspiration for the Evil Dead remake, but you get a little bit of Red Rain going on there. And then, so fast forward to, I guess it was Christmas Eve morning.
Is that so?
I know it was all taking place right around Christmas. Now, apparently the only reason they included that was...
I was under the assumption that this is... I think they said it's something that was like 10 days to Christmas. This movie revolves a lot about, obviously went for the movies, then they're at a radio station, and then we'll get into some of the other areas. But when they're in a radio station, I think it was like, there's 10 more shopping days until Christmas or something. Like the radio is playing on a loop, right? And it's got like the recordings that are going in and out. So I don't think this is I don't think this is a Christmas like Eve type movie. I think it was like,
well, apparently when they were shooting it, it was close enough that any of the decor in this city that was Christmassy, they were lucky enough to just being able to shoot out in the city, out in the streets and stuff like that. So they weren't going to try and take down all that. So they were just like, all right, this is going to be like right around Christmas. But I could have sworn, this starts off, within a day or two of Christmas. I mean, we do have an appearance from Santa Claus. No Daniel Roebuck, but, it's still Santa Claus. And, so it starts off with Regina waking up, and I keep saying the projectionist because, I got Pearl on the mind and I forget the guy's name. But he realizes the film reels he donated or loaned out didn't come back. So he's like, I got to go get this fucking guy. Therefore, stiffing Reggie on her $15.
I mean, I would have paid the $15. I'm just saying. I would have been a gentleman.
Again, 80s money, I would have probably gone as far as 50.
Yes. 50, I most definitely.
Which I think is weird because she even called out that she's worth so much more than that, and yet she still went through with it. Things was tight, I guess. So he goes to leave the theater to do that, opens up the door, and then you got knockoff Eugene Clark waiting in the alleyway for him. And
the guy looked like the pimp from Demons at first. But I was like, wait a minute, he looks like that. He you know what I'm talking about, right?
Do you have his name?
No, but it's not the same. I think this guy that jumps out as like a zombie. I think he's like a stuntman on a ton of movies. Back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and such. So originally, I had thought that looks like the guy from the pimp from Demons, and it wasn't.
I didn't think of that. I went straight to it almost looked like, is that Eugene Clark's uncle?
Yeah. I mean, if you ever been to any horror conventions that Eugene's been at, he always makes a loud roar.
Yes, you will not spend more than 5 minutes in a room with him,
and not get the special effects from Eugene Clark, who was in Land of the Dead.
Yep.
So, yeah, so you get the half-lit zombie that you first come in contact. He kills the projectionist, and now Reg is trying to wake up. She's trying to get going. She accidentally goes outside and locks herself out of the movie theater
She
that she
forgot
was
to
in.
wedge the door.
She wedged the door with that fucking small ass trash can, right? And then it closed on its own.
Oh.
As most of them done back in the past. You know when you used to do those flooring jobs at the high school, and we used to wedge open the door that we weren't supposed to go out of
With the tack rag.
with the tack
trash
rag, yeah.
or trash can.
and then some fucker ends up closing behind you. So it was one of those type doors.
When they're not throwing snowballs and shit.
I mean, this is a Christmas. Is this a Christmas movie?
I count it.
I mean, until I went back recently and rewatched this, I guess it is considered a Christmas movie, which is fine with me. Because
I mean,
it's just another one to add to the list of Christmas
Here's
horror
how I
movies,
look
right?
at it. I'm not going to tell anyone how to think other than this is as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard.
Okay, that's fair.
And I count Die Hard, so.
Yeah, Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Y'all could think what you want, but that's my opinion. And I think this is just as much because, again, it's, it takes place around Christmas. And like I said, fucking Santa Claus shows up. So.
Yeah, you get a 2-for-1 deal. So I'm definitely counting this in the Christmas.
And enough that you
horror
get a
movie
Santa
bag.
reference towards the end as well.
Right. But I mean, Reg runs into the zombie. She fends him off. She gets on a bike, motorcycle. She heads back, and I always love the feel, like I guess her riding on the bike going through town. It's like the headshot upward, where you can see the background in the red from the sky, and it reminded me of what was it, Little Shop of Horrors, where Steve Martin's going through on the bike and everything, and it's so hokey behind there, and it kind of reminded me of the same thing. But she heads home. She goes to see who's left, see if Samantha's there. Samantha's there, and then she tries to tell her what's going on, and Samantha's not buying it. She's like, "Oh well, the cheer squad, I can't get anybody on the phone. Like, she's so ditzy at times.
It's so weird.
Oh my god! Like, it's just she plays. Kelli Mallroney playing Samantha. She plays like that character from the '80s, right? This is the same time right after Valley Girl just came out.
And apparently that's mainly where the inspiration for this came. Like, how about Valley Girl, but in a post-apocalyptic world?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it works. And again, see, this is a case, I don't know what the intent was, but, I've ranted, I don't know about on this show, but I've definitely ranted plenty of times over the years about, the whole idea where a movie's coming out and, like, the marketing is, oh, it's a strong woman leading the thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's the case of this movie. It wasn't promoted that way. It's like, oh, here's a movie about two girls that get all that, and they end up being kind of badass. Like I said, I always go back to fucking, Alien and stuff like that. Now, I wasn't conscious at the time. Like, I wasn't, I was a fucking toddler, so of course I wasn't watching trailers or marketing for that, but I could pretty much guarantee they weren't like, and Sigourney Weaver as the badass woman in this. No, it's a movie. She stars in it. She happened to be badass in it.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just kind of miss these days. It's like the movie came out, and it's like, let the movie live or die, like, by its own merit. Like,
right.
You don't have to sit there and push, like, oh, two badass chicks. It was like, no, Valley Girl and At the End of the World.
Yeah.
And, it's, again, at 84, it's well done. And hearing the shit, not saying cut corners. No, we don't cut corners, we scrape them. But, seeing like all the shit they had to improv just to keep it within budget. That's what I was going to mention before. I think he was asking for like $1 or $2 million to make the movie, and they were like, we'll give you 700, not a penny more. But, yeah, they made do with it. Even the thing I kept hearing was, they told everyone, like, if something went bad in a take or...
They just said kept going.
Yeah, they just said stay in character and react as your character would. It was like little shit, and I'm not saying they're the first to do it. I don't think I've heard of that before, where they specifically said, never break character even when you're reacting to something that wasn't supposed to happen.
And some of that plays out where they kept it in there.
Yeah, like Dad would have gotten a Susie's.
Yeah. The one that always stands out that they kept going, and it's an all-timer, is the Heath Ledger one in The Dark Knight, where he kept going. He was trying to blow up the hospital behind him, and then he's smacking it, and that was supposed to go off, and it never went off. Now,
I've heard that story 1,000 times, and just, I think last week, I heard it was something like, movie theories or movie
don't
whatever.
tell me that they debunked it, and they said that's not true, is it?
That are actually not true, and they claim, like, no, that was scripted. But I heard that one time as opposed to, I don't know how many different people.
Yeah, the majority of the stories that went around was like, hey, it was supposed to go off, it didn't, and he didn't break character, and he just kept going.
Yeah,
with it.
one of the things didn't go. I mean,
yeah, and it didn't blow up because obviously they would have had to put all that money into it. And then you always remember the whole Tropic Thunder moment, right? Where in the beginning of the movie with Daniel McBride, right, and then he's got it going off. He gives the signal, right? Right, and the signal, they weren't even shooting it, and he ends up spending all this pyro and blowing up the whole background scene and fucks up the whole entire scene.
Was it like a $2 million explosion?
Yeah,
and the cameras weren't rolling.
Cameras weren't even rolling. But this movie, Night of the Comet, this is like the heart of the '80s. You have the style of that time, right? You have the radio station. What did everybody listen to back in the day in the 80s, right? Everybody had a boombox. Everybody was listening to the radio, and it was like...
And the fucking boombox they have on here during, again, jumping a little ahead, but the mall scene, yeah, the little boombox they're jamming out to. Like, I had that fucking thing.
Everybody had that boombox. I think I found that in my parents' basement as I was growing up. I mean, right next to the 8-tracks recorder and tape player. So,
and then the one day when Santa came through for me and got me the dual cassette boombox.
Oh,
holy shit!
That means you can play a tape and record at the same time, so you can make your own mixtape. Allegedly,
this is my other favorite line. Actually, half my favorite lines are from him.
Yeah,
either him or Samantha.
What did he say? I'm crazy.
She's like, "You're crazy." He's like, "I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck."
Yeah, yeah.
And then just his whole introduction and all. For some reason, every time I hear a reference to this movie, it's always attention shoppers.
but the 80s was all about, it was music, right? We went to the mall.
Yeah.
We were at the mall. We would go to the Echelon Mall way back in the day. We would be there in Sam Goody at the food court and everything.
And if we were like
shopping, it was like the ultimate dream was to get locked into a mall. And I think at the time, right, you had Mannequin that was out, right? And that was like the big movie that was actually filmed in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
So that was like
Wanamaker's,
yeah, in Philly. So that was this is like 80s, like cheese at its finest, right? You got the music, you got the radio station, right?
The dress code.
It's just not Texas Chainsaw 2 radio station, but this is, it's the fun, hip, California-based LA radio station, right? And the mall, right? And now it's like, oh, what do teenagers do? They would go to a mall, they would, during apocalyptic time, and they would go have a bunch of fun. And it just, to me, that brings you, if like you had to like go to a horror movie, this is one of them that you would pull in for the time frame. Like, this is everything 80s, and the soundtrack was phenomenal that goes on in this in this movie, and it's great. I think I messaged you and sent it to you. I found it on Apple, and then I was sitting there listening to it as I watched the movie recently, and then going back and listening to it, I was like, man, this is a movie. The soundtrack was phenomenal. They used it the right way. It was well done. The radio station DJ that's on loop, that's there. Obviously they got it on loop about his recording and then playing the music, and it's like, hey everybody, we got 11 more days to Christmas.
the morning, yeah. So they wake up and find out. Well, no, Reg finds out everything's done. She goes back to Samantha, and yeah, as you said, I can't get anybody on the phone. Nobody's answering and all that. And she's like, yeah, because the world has ended and everybody's dead. And she's like, ha ha, very funny. And
where's Doris?
Yeah, and part of me was, watching it this time, I so badly wanted just to see the two of them go at it with, put the glasses on.
Yeah.
Put the fucking glasses.
They live.
The amount of resistance Samantha put up, she was like, oh, I'm not buying it. Takes her outside, shows the piles of dust on top of clothing, and what was
she lifts it up.
She's like, there's Doris, and she grabs the white penny loafers. She's like, here's Chuck.
Yeah.
All covered in red dust. So she finally buys it, and they're, I guess, trying to figure out what to do from there. And then
they hear the radio.
Yeah, they're like, well, there's no people left, and yet they hear the DJ coming on. It's like, well, let's go to the radio station and find out how many survivors are there, only to find out it's long. Because I think even when they first noticed the DJ on the radio, it was just like, yeah, it's another bright, beautiful day outside, and it's like, apparently whoever's talking isn't looking outside right now.
Right.
But yeah, so they work their way over to the radio station. Again, a very 80s, neon fluorescent lighting and
the big ass chairs and shit.
Yo, yeah, and find out, yeah, it's just a for all you old people out there, it's a reel-to-reel tape on loop.
And no humans in sight, or at least not for a few minutes. And then some armed gentleman comes walking into the room. Yeah, Hector.
Played by Robert Beltran.
And I had a lot of issues with it this time around. Like, watching it as a kid, it was just like, whoa, yeah, he's this badass trucker dude and all. Like, no, he looks like he just came from the fucking club.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, granted, there's stereotypes of, trucker. You got to have a 3-foot beard, a cowboy hat or a bandana on, and, weigh about 350 with a fucking, a sleeveless flannel busting at the seams and all. But no, this guy looked too clean cut to be a truck driver.
Yeah.
He looked good. He just didn't look like a truck driver, but... I guess he proved us wrong by the end of the movie, knowing that he could go full driver.
He's not competing it over the top, though.
But yeah, he comes in, throws a gun in their face, show me your eyes, and
yeah, show me your eyes.
And that was one of my favorite Samantha parts too. He's like, show me your eyes, and she's like, again, just being sarcastic and. All right, again, this is jumping ahead, but the scene now on the TV and all, even there, she's just like, oh yeah, okay, oh, is this what's going on? Awesome. But yeah, the only time she really gets bothered by anything was, you fast forward, they're hanging, they crash at the
radio station?
Yeah, for the night, and then the next day, Hector decides he's gonna go drive, cross town or whatever, to check on his family to see if they're around. And yeah, Sam and Reg have this little heart-to-heart about, like, oh, did you make it? She's like, excuse me? And, goes on this whole, like, oh, well, you won't admit it, so it must be true, and... Every time I always had an eye on a guy, you ended up getting him, and now he's like the last guy on earth, and I can't even have him.
You just had to have him.
Yeah, you took him away from.
Oh my god!
And that's the thing. She didn't do anything. Hector was just drawn to her, but it wasn't like she seduced him or anything. And again, I just feel like between the two, Sam came off more approachable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then she had the dream sequence, right? After the radio, she passed out, and then you didn't realize she passed out. She wakes up, she's in a car, and then she's like driving at night, and then all of a sudden you got the cops, flashing behind her. So here she ends up pulling over.
And I like how she's like initially like, oh, thank God. But then that little like muscle memory, whatever, it was just like, oh shit, realize she's drinking a beer while she's driving. And it's like thrown in the back seat, trying to hide it and all. It's like, I think that would be the least of her worries at that moment, and it turns out in that moment it was the least of her worries because the officer walks up,
and then she like wakes up. She's startled because she sees the zombie officer, which I thought was funny. Apparently, they ended up utilizing some of the police force that was shutting down the roads while they were doing some of the filming.
I did not know that.
Right, so they just utilized those guys to that were cops for that scene because they were already holding up traffic and whatever during those times of the hour. So, which makes sense.
And again, I mean, I would consider this a full-on zombie movie. Like, zombies are an element to this, but in my head, and even though, because we forgot to mention that once they got comfortable in the studio, Sam decides to take over DJing duties. Yeah, she threw out that little Easter egg of, hey, all you, what was it, mutant teenage comet zombies out there, which I guess was the working title for the movie.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
So she goes on there and talking about, like, so for all you kids out there, the finals tomorrow, forget about that. Oh, and now the legal drinking age is 10. But make sure you have ID.
Yeah.
And I feel like any of us in that situation would have done the same exact thing. Even today, not just an 80s thing, but...
And I saw that she had she was flipping through her albums, and one of them was Valley Girl, and apparently at that time, Valley Girl was like the #1 album out there.
So, definitely a lot of tributes, I guess, in this.
But my gosh, even she was in the one dream sequence. She jumped into a second dream sequence where she's getting cleaned up in the bathroom and takes off her top, but still has her bra on.
Yeah, just down to the bra.
Yeah. And then here she gets approached by another zombie cop.
Yeah,
and then she ends up waking up, after that. But
woke up for realsies, and then Hector decided to go check on the fam.
My gosh, my heart stops for her.
Yeah, I was scared.
That's a moment.
But God, I want that lighting in my house.
I love that neon light that used to flicker back and forth.
Yeah, like the old 80s animated lighting.
Oh yeah, the video store had that animated lighting.
And where it just has that very basic like 3-frame flip book effect to it. But hey, that was hardcore coming from a couple of people who existed when it was
white and or yellowish lights, and your features were on and off.
Yes. But then you also get involved with these scientists. And obviously now it's like, oh, okay, there's actually a backstory here too. So right there.
Oh yeah, so they keep flashing to the
scientists that know something is going on. They're trying to do some testing. They don't really give you all the details of what's happening here and what happened when the comet had passed by and such. So.
And what was it? Something about calcium deposits or something? And
I forget. I know it was something along those lines, but. Here they hear the radio station. They hear she jacks up and she's on
DJ Sam.
She's on DJ Sam, right? And she doesn't cut the mic, so all they hear is the talking going on. And now they're picking up, and they're like, well, maybe they're at the station. We have survivors. Maybe let's go pick them up and let's go bring them back. And now it's like, oh, what's going on? So this is at the time Sam and Reg they're fucking around. They're like getting bored, so they go outside. All Hector leaves and. They start.
Oh yeah, so they have their heart. Oh no, first isn't that when they do target practice?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They go outside and they're doing target practice with the the guns.
That was something I took in one of my notes of because unfortunately I don't know enough about guns and like that. I know the difference between like a shotgun, a handgun, and a machine gun.
Right.
I find it funny, and we'll get into this later as well. Like in the 80s, just. Guns were everywhere. Like the note I took down was, so yeah, they go outside and it was just like, oh yeah, in the 80s, of course they're just going to have Uzis.
Right.
And then, doing a little bit of research, that's when I found out that for whatever reason, I guess the producers didn't want Uzis or maybe they were too much, so they had MAC-10s, which now I know what a MAC-10 is. I've always heard about them. I didn't realize they were essentially an Uzi. And I guess they were notorious for jamming up. So... apparently, yeah, when they're out testing their shooting skills with the with most of the Buick or something.
Oh yeah, they were tearing that shit up.
But I guess in the shot, like the gun jammed up, and that's when we got the little improv line for Samantha of oh, Dad would have gotten us Uzis.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that was a little bit of a fuck you to whoever said no to the Uzis, but. Again, like I never thought about it. Like during the 80s, like any movie, it didn't matter what the setting was or anything. Like you knew some hardcore guns were coming into play. Like you never just had a movie where you had a quick duel with like handguns and all. You always had automatic guns. You had shotguns.
Shotguns were always a big thing.
Like, yeah, Uzis, machine gun, like all this shit. Like, it was just like...
This is also the same time as Terminator coming out, too, right?
Yeah, so... But, like, watching it now, it's just like... Yeah, like, how would they have acquired that? But in the 80s watching this, it was just like, well, yeah, of course. Like, everybody has this.
Yeah. And I know she's doing it, and it's fun. It's hilarious because you got these girls out there, they're just shooting off their guns, and they're going back and forth like they're using target practice right outside.
Yeah.
And nobody's around. And then she's kind of getting down, and she's upset, and she's talking about her friends and school and everything.
And everything she talks about,
Samantha.
Like, you took the last man on Earth.
Yeah, and everything about Samantha goes back to somebody at school. It's like she's got a story to tell everybody. This person was doing this today. I was supposed to have this practice, and this person's my best friend. And she's flunking algebra and everything, and oh my gosh, and it's just every certain sequence is like she's in high school. You get that high school feeling of what they would talk about and stuff, and they would revert back to something that was comfortable for them to talk about, and she plays it off really well.
Yeah,
Kelly
and that's the thing. Like why I had trouble saying it before. Like I mean, it would be easy to just say that Samantha was like, oh, the ditzy blonde and all. But she wasn't ditzy. Like I said, she just had that more free-spirited, like...
She didn't let the shit bother her.
Yeah,
either.
she just, almost had, like, she just had this optimism about her. But she was still a teenager, so little drama, a little gossipy or whatever. But as a whole, like, yeah, like... It would be easy to just say, like, oh, yeah, Samantha was a ditzy blonde. But she wasn't. She was just... Yeah, very laid back, but still seemed to have a brain.
Right.
Like she wasn't the dumb blonde. She was just, she only takes serious things seriously. Everything else is just like, all right, cool.
I guess that's how I would approach it at that point. If you see shit's going down weird and nobody's around, and what are you going to do at that point?
Yeah. But then you have that heartfelt moment where, and for, I thought the chemistry between the two of them was great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I felt they actually passed, they didn't look anything alike, but the chemistry.
They passed the sister test.
Yeah. As far as chemistry goes, I would have believed they were sisters. And here it turns out they legit got along. And like to this day, they're still really good friends.
Yeah.
So, now whether they became friends like early on in the shoot or, you know, if they just kept in touch since and got closer and all. But it feels like they got really close before this, because
I think their chemistry was important to this movie, right?
Yeah.
And they kept that factor that, hey, they're still sisters, they're still stuck together, no matter what happened and whatever
they are
scenario.
Very different,
right? And but every bickering moment, there was a connection back to each other.
Yeah.
And it was like the big sister taking her on and goes, well, guess what? We're gonna go to the mall, you know? And then they go to the mall, and then you get that 80s scene where you got the music playing, you got girls just want to have.
Not Cyndi Lauper.
It's not Cyndi Lauper. It's the cover of Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
But it was pretty fucking accurate too.
Right. And that's like every 80s movie. If you go back and watch 80s, there's always that one movie, you know, one part of the movie where they got the music and they're all dressing up and they're all getting ready for some type of dance or party, or or they lost all their clothes on European vacation. You know what I mean? Like
in the 80s, you didn't get as much establishing shots as you did establishing montages.
Right.
Like when it went to a new setting or just in some cases just another scene, it went in you got your pop 80s song and the fucking montage.
You got the 2 to 3 minute montage.
Yeah, and it was excellent. But as I was going to say, like I said, as lighthearted as Samantha was, like you had that moment where they're sitting on the car and like you had this heartfelt moment where it was like, no, shit does bother her. It's just not, you know, again, she just doesn't let every little thing. But the fact that, the realization that like everybody's gone and knowing that, you know, at least to the best of their knowledge, he's the only guy left in the world and she ain't even got a shot with him. So yeah, Reg hits her up with the, you know, oh, you got your credit card? And she's like, no. And she's like, perfect, because stores are open.
Yeah.
And then, cue the not Cyndi Lauper mall montage. And apparently I'm drawing a blank on the director's name. The writer-director, I think it's
Tom Eberhardt.
Eberhardt, that's it. I knew there was a heart involved with it, but like when he first came up with the idea for the movie, but didn't really write much, they said that he went around and he like interviewed teenage girls and just didn't go into what the movie was going to be, but you woke up one morning and it's the end of the world, everybody's gone. Like, what do you do? And said that it sounded like even he was surprised by it, that they were just like, oh my God, we would hang out at the mall and we would do that. Like, being teenagers, they didn't fully understand, like, we're talking the end of the world, like humans are gone. Wow, I'm getting hard just thinking about it. But not the teenage part, the humanity being gone. But yeah, and he said pretty much unanimously, it was just like they looked at it as there's no rules, there's no parents, like it's party time. So, and then I guess after he got their answer, he explained in the detail, and I guess that's what a lot of these kids, when it sunk in, that, oh, like, you mean like forever, like we're the last people on Earth, and then like the reality hit them, and they weren't even in the movie. It was just a random, you know, Richard Dawson went around and top 100 answers.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
But so I guess that's, you know, where the idea to put the mall thing in there was, it sounds like pretty much unanimously that's what teenage girls would do when all people are gone.
I mean, to be honest with you, the mall, that time the mall was the coolest place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have asked
where did you go to hang out with your friends?
Yeah, I was going to say anybody like 25 and under, you're pretty much guaranteed that. Yeah. I mean, shit, you know, was it 78? I mean, Romero even knew it then with Dawn of the Dead. Like,
right.
You know, that whole thing of, yeah, these people are dead, but they just have that ingrained instinct, like, you go to the mall. Like, that was what happened. So, and yeah, that shit lingered, I don't know how early in the 70s, but you had it in the 70s, pretty much dominated the 80s, and then by the end of the 90s is, I guess, when it kind of fizzled out. It wasn't...
Online shopping became a thing.
Yeah, I guess the more...
The mall was a place to gather, to hang out, to do whatever you wanted to. It was kind of like a way to get out of the house. It was a place to be safe.
And this is before the stranger danger became the thing, thus leading to helicopter parenting and all that. Right. But
I mean, that was the place where I used to meet girls on AOL, and then I'd be like, okay, you want to meet at the mall?
Yeah, like you could
that was a place where that's where we would meet up and stuff.
Yeah, I remember even like 13, 14 years old, like my parents, or at least my mom, like she would want to go to the mall. All right, you kids hop in the car and everything. And we would just go off and do our thing. And we just knew that make sure our Swatch watch is set at the right time, because at this time you have to be in front of this store.
Right.
And it was just like a free-for-all. There was never any like, don't talk to strangers and all. Like, we just knew, go do our thing. But how many, at least in my experience, there was nobody looking to hijack kids in the back of a Spencer Gifts or anything.
No. It was, hey, we're going to Suncoast Video. We're stopping at Sam Goody. You got Baskin Robbins. It was the thing. It was the place to hang out growing up.
And then you had Scotto's over at the food court.
Right, you had Scotto's, right? Scotto's are Chinese food. It was one or the other.
And you never went to Penny's or Strawbridge's. That's where the old people
Fucking
go.
Strawbridge's. Yeah. Boscov's. Nobody goes to Boscov's.
Yeah, Boscov's is when Echelon got fancy.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Right? Yeah, man, that was the thing. And that montage was great. Oh, you got Kelly and a Teddy. Dancing, jumping around and dancing.
Yep.
Ah, amen.
Again, I guess it was the 70s, 80s things where they had like the mink scarf. You always got the mink scarf in a mall montage when there's a free-for-all. Yeah, but they're off doing their thing and
jumping around, dancing, having fun.
It didn't last quite as long as in Dawn of the Dead, as far as the comfort they had. Again, for the millionth time, I'm going to say, you get your montage, and then shortly after,
shit hits a fan.
The lights are flickering, and then you got this knockoff John Turturro wannabe, his like distant cousin or something, or distant nephew, in sunglasses, pale face, and he gets on the mall intercom and welcome shoppers. I hope you girls intend on paying for that. And goes through this whole thing and gets them a little freaked out, and then get them, boys. So there's this little herd of wannabe Blues Brothers gang of what was there, like 4 to 6 of them?
There was like 4 guys.
Of course Uzis, because
they're gonna pop
80s,
out with their now. Hey, you got your artillery, we got our artillery.
Yeah, you have your little chase scene in there, as we referenced before when that part of the movie came up. But so you get to the point where Samantha gets caught by, I guess, the leader of this group, and then Regina hijacks one of their guys and then comes out, and so now you got your Mexican standoff. She's like, let her go, wrong. He gets it. And, I'm sorry. I can't have you holding one of my men hostage. And she's like, I'm serious. I'll do it. Let her go. He's like, no, you don't understand. I can't have you holding one of my men hostage. Bam! Fucking blows his head off.
Yeah.
And then, yes, again, going to possibly my favorite line of the movie. You're crazy! I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck. Yeah. It just has this very robotic thing about him but yet he has like this creepy, almost Joker look about him.
So these were workers from
Agent
the mall.
Smith.
These were the
Joker.
Yeah, these were the workers that were working the mall and taking everybody's shit, and now they control the mall.
Yeah, so they explain like, we were stock boys and now look, we own the place.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. So they collect the sisters, and again, another 80s trope. Have them chained up in a stock room on top of like a crate or some shit.
And then guess who comes to save them?
I guess they finally decide to dispose of them, and then all of a sudden you hear all these gunshots, but for some reason the stock boys are falling over. The scientists have tracked them down.
They went to the radio station first, and then they're like, well, where would they go? Well, where would you go? You would go to the mall. Okay, let's go to the mall, Yep. So of course they were going to find them.
Because, it's a no-brainer. But they get there, and I guess that's another thing we forgot to mention. Like, I guess they did focus on it, but they didn't make a huge deal about it. But throughout the movie, you just get these shots where you randomly see, like, Samantha, like, scratching at her collarbone.
Yeah, she had, like, a skin issue.
Yeah, so I forget what it's called, but where, if you're in a stressful situation or if you get, like, super emotional, I guess... I've heard stories of some people like
eczema
break out in hives from stress and all, and it sounds like a mild version of that where she'll just get little irritations. But so the scientists show up, obviously free the girls, they take them outside, and it's just like, oh, we're gonna take you back to her lab. And behind the scenes, the hell was her name? Dr. Audrey White. You had her and the other doctor, the male doctor, but they're kind of sitting back and like, you realize we're just taking this one back. Like the other one, we don't even have to test her. We know that she's been compromised. Yeah, and they go back to her, and that's when you see her like scratching again. Yeah, Dr. White hangs back at the mall because
with Samantha.
Yeah, with Samantha because she's just like, oh well, Hector's gonna come back, so
we'll just wait here.
Yeah, I'll stick back with this one, and obviously we need the friendly face for when Hector comes back, so he knows we're with her. And they take Reg back to the lab and has the most awkward interview.
Grilling of questions.
And
that's hilarious.
It was funny though. It took me back to like, what was it, early 92, I guess, when long story short, I ended up donating blood because somebody was going in for surgery and requested, well, if I'm gonna need a transfusion, I'd rather be from somebody I know. And I go in for that test, and I was 17, 18. I just remember being giggling. Now I get for a blood test, and again, this is early 90s, so AIDS is still a thing, but it's like my entire sexual history. And they're like, have you done anal? Have you done this? Have you ever had a homosexual encounter? And have you
did you do butt stuff?
And after like 6 or 7 like sex related questions, I'm like, how about that? I'm a virgin. Like,
yeah,
it was like, yes, I was a virgin until way late in life. But it was there. It's all these, and I get STDs were still like a big thing at the time. It was still, a major issue. As far as it felt like if you got anything, it was like a fucking death sentence and all. So they had all these questions, and I was just like, I'm a virgin. So yeah, from here on, any sexual questions you have, like, doesn't apply to me. I think I kissed one girl one time. Like, that's it.
Did you have cooties?
But of course they ended up asking, some other things I guess could be. So hearing this interview where they were like, oh, have you ever had herpes? Have you ever been pregnant? And
well, the funny thing is that he's asking these questions, and like, she's like ignoring him, right?
She's being such like a condescending, like smart ass.
Like she's like thinking about stuff and just talking about like, oh my gosh, like this really happened and what's going on and where's Samantha?
Yeah, and she's like, they're like, oh, have you ever been pregnant? She's like, no. Actually, I thought I was once. Oh, it was terrifying. And she just goes off on this tangent. He's like, all right, that's good. Have you ever done ass to mouth? And like,
yeah. He goes, well, that's not really necessary or something.
And she was just like, look, just because we're friends, I'm gonna let you know. Sometimes, in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I thought that was funny when he's like, are you pregnant? And she goes, no, but I thought I was. And then he was like, well, that's irrelevant or something. And she goes, well, maybe for you, but that was the longest 3 weeks of my life.
Yeah.
And then she, the way she says it in her face too is just like, oh, it's hilarious.
Like she's trying to have a real moment, and then you basically have this like robot.
Yeah.
Essentially a robot, like, interrogating her.
Regina's being interrogated while at the same time is that Samantha's back with Audrey White, the other scientist, back at the mall, right?
Yeah.
And they're waiting for Hector, and she feels like...
And she kind of calls her out on the whole, like, oh, do you have, like, an infection or something? Because she's, like, scratching at the collarbone again. I say this as I'm scratching at my collarbone.
Stop that.
And that's when she explains, like, oh, no, this is something I've always had. Like, whenever I'm, like, highly emotional or if I'm stressed out. She's like, oh, yeah, I just kind of break out a little. I get, like, a little itchy and all. Yeah, it takes a dark turn. Audrey goes and... pulls out her little, again, it feels like a very common thing in the 80s, the briefcase with the syringe. And
sweetie, you'll be okay. Just relax.
And she's like, here, this'll
make you feel better.
Yeah, this'll calm you down. And taps a vein, gives her the shot, and, bye-bye Samantha. She just kind of drifts off. So, it turns out. And it's weird because I think she did play that balance, the Audrey character, of like, of course, right out of the gate, it's just like, oh, scientists, of course they're up to no good. But then you get the moment like, oh, maybe there's other survivors out there, we should do that. But she just had this like cold, dry delivery about it. Like you couldn't really get a feel for, is she on the good side, the bad side, and all that. And I just felt like brilliantly walked that line. So, I
think she felt bad for Samantha. Like she was too kind.
Yeah, like basically it was a mercy killing and all. So then you got the other doctor show up, and he was just like, "Oh, is that it?" It's like, "What'd you want me to do? Take her in the back and shoot her in the back of the head?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No. I'm just surprised it was that quick and painless." And then Audrey pulls out a gun and shoots the doctor.
Right. And then heads over to the radio station.
So now, obviously, she's completely unhinged, and
she's unhinged. She goes to the radio station. She basically wrote out a letter, and then Hector kind of shows up in a Santa outfit, right? After he just got done fending off. Yeah, he went back home.
Because I think at this point, I'm guessing at this point it is Christmas morning, or maybe it's Christmas Eve. So
I think he's just showing up as Santa,
but just to lift spirits and whatnot.
Well, he just got fending off a kid who was a zombie kid at his around his house or neighborhood or wherever he was, and he stopped.
Oh yeah, he went to check on his mom. Yeah. So they're all dead, but found a zombie kid there and managed to escape it. And then came back to the radio station.
And then came back in a Santa outfit to see Dr. Audrey White, and then she's kind of going into telling about exactly what happened. There's a note over there on the table, and then he's reading it, and she's kind of telling the story like they've all been compromised. They've all been exposed because somebody left the vents open during the whole Comet piece, during the Comet, coming through.
So they got the minimal exposure.
They got the minimal exposure, and they would be turning soon, and it was all going to end. So basically, she just killed herself.
Yeah. So she gives herself the shot and drifts off into deathdom.
So Hector, I guess,
he left a note of where the
lab
Reggie,
was and all.
where Reggie's at.
So yeah, Hector Claus takes off, runs off to go track them down, and well, I guess he took a detour on the way to the lab. But anyhow, yeah. So now they bring in the 2 kids.
Oh, so they found 2 kids around that area that they took back with him when they found Regina.
So what?
Right.
Which one was it? Was it Audrey or the doctor at the lab where they explained the whole, the whole thing of they're taking the survivors, like the uncompromised survivors, and doing like blood transfusions with them.
They're trying to utilize their blood.
So yeah, I forget what it is, but they shoot them with something that they end up essentially brain dead.
Right. So they can take their blood from
But
them.
in a sense, they're
still providing.
They're just alive enough to keep regenerating blood,
yeah.
And they figure that these blood transfusions will somehow lead to an antidote.
Yeah.
To the Comet zombie virus thing.
It's an antidote, but it also keeps them going, right? It would keep them alive.
Yeah, it's keeping
not
the full
changing.
zombification to take over. So yeah, they find these 2 kids and all, and then so you have now 2 of the other scientists or whatever talking to the kids, and I guess they're getting prepped for their situation, their transfusion. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but their transfusion transition or something. And all explaining to the kids, like, oh, what's this going to do? And it's like, oh, this is going to take you
to the North Pole.
Yeah, and you're going to see Santa Claus. And the little girl's like, oh, my God. And the brother's like, you serious? And they're like, oh, you don't believe in Santa Claus? Well, then, and kind of playing it up and all. And then, in the midst of Reggie's interrogation, yeah, she's just like, where's my sister? And like, oh, yeah, she's dead. Like they just.
Oh yeah, she was compromised. She's dead. She turned anyway.
So he walks out
and he was turning at the same time. So he's getting frustrated because now he's having effects where he's starting to turn.
Now he's got to put the glasses
Dr.
on.
Carter.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, he steps out long enough for Reg to come up with an idea to trap him, or not trap him, but yeah, he comes back and sees there's like a table or desk knocked over, and he goes to check on it, and Reg knocks the shit out of him and escapes. So
it was very climatic.
Yeah, it was just yeah.
It was like, oh yeah,
as soon as
let me
you
just
saw
knock them out, and let me go. I'm gonna go find these kids. I'm gonna go save these kids. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And
yeah, as soon as you saw the table knocked over, it was like, well, we know what she's doing here. But again, that was just something that happened in the 80s, and it was just like, yeah, go, go, go.
It was the home stretch, Dave.
So yeah, she gets out and goes and finds the kids, and
at the same time, you got Hector coming back, and he wants to get into the plant with the rest of the scientists.
So he comes up to the security booth, fucking texts Hector there.
Yeah,
goes full trucker at that point. He's just like
he was good. He was good. He was funny.
Oh yeah, I had no problems with the character. I just had trouble the way. Like I said, he just had that super clean cut look about him, and the way he was dressed. Like I said, it looked I know it's 80s casual, but it had still a bit of a formal something about it. Like he didn't have the appearance of a truck driver until this moment when he comes up full cowboy hat and threw on an accent and all, and he's just like, hey, you guys ever see a dead body? You want to see one? Yeah, they open it up and there's Samantha's limp body in the trunk of the car. They're like, oh my God, she's dead. And he's like, well, no, some scientist filled her up with enough sodium pentothal to make her look dead.
Well, she really wasn't.
And like that, and then surprise, Sam gets up and distracts him enough that Hector knocks him out with the trunk lid. So,
you mean Kelly's still alive?
Yes, because you know what? As many times as I saw it, I've been removed enough that watching it this time, it was like, oh, I forgot she died, and then I forgot that it was a fake out.
Oh, I forgot she's still alive.
But it was like, no, they can't kill Kelly.
No.
Like Samantha I'm fine with, but don't kill Kelly.
Yeah.
They go in there. Reggie finds the 2 kids, and they're like, what are you doing to them?
I'm sorry, I still got text on the mind. But she's like, oh, what are you doing to those kids? And they're like, we're going to go see Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So
Of course they want to see Santa Claus. It's Christmas time.
And they didn't show what actually happened. You just got the aftermath, right?
Well, yeah, they kind of escape. They escape, and then they kind of like rigged up the scientist truck. And then he kind of like, oh, well, let them get off. Let them go. They're going to die anyway. It was kind of like, let them go. And then he started taunting them. Hector started taunting them. And then they were about to get in their Jeep and then try and leave. And here the one doctor ends up turning the scientist.
Yeah.
About to turns on the car and blows up.
Long enough without the transfusion that they realized, it's starting to speed up the zombification. And that was the other thing. I think I loved it more because, again, as a kid, it was like, oh my God, that's super dirty. But, they start driving away and then they stop and Hector's like, all right, kids, close your eyes.
Right.
And watching it this time, I'm like, wait, did he moon them? What happened? And no, it was just like, hey, guys. I can't even do the whistle. And yeah, he just flips them the bird.
Yeah.
Just to antagonize them enough to get in their car and...
hey, kids, look, a deer.
I completely forget, but I remember every time I watched it as a kid, that was one of my favorite parts. Oh my God, he did the dirty finger thing.
Yeah.
And those kids had to close their eyes, but I got to watch it.
Oh. And then the movie just kind of like, after that, and they blow up, it's just they go back to the city.
Yeah, it turns out they rigged out the scientist car with gasoline and dynamite. That is the old mob trick of they start the car up and you bang.
Yeah. They get back into the city where they originally were. The rain comes, everything, all the dust disappears, and now they're just kind of living life. So you got Hector and Regina. Now they have 2 kids grown up.
and which, I mean, all right, I guess you didn't have to worry about the whole pregnancy and like the pain of giving birth, because right now if there were complications, there's really no doctor to help out with that. So it's good to have pre-made kids. When you're talking about the end of the world. But yeah, and she just goes full mom mode. I remember watching it as a kid and the whole idea of, she was just like everybody's got their Sunday best on and she's taking Polaroids of the kids. It's like, oh my God, you guys are so cute. And having everybody pose and shit. Then you got Sam, I forget what they were like in a small park or something, but
I think they were in the middle of a main
a square.
Yeah, like a square center in the city.
So they're walking back and they come up to the intersection. Sam's, you just see her kind of trying to figure out where she's going from this. She even contemplated being a nun. Yeah, you see the new family come walking up to the intersection, just standing there, and Sam's like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we don't cross on red.
Right. There's nobody in sight. Nobody's been around.
So, yeah, Sam goes full, I know what you did last summer. What are you waiting for? Goes running out. She's like, are you guys nuts? And she's like, it's very... And what was it? We now hold the burden of society or civilization, or we're responsible with the burden of civilization, or something like that. Basically, it's up... We have to be extra careful because we need to repopulate the planet. And yeah, Samantha's having none of that. She runs out in the middle of the intersection and she's like, it's a ghost town! And
then all of a sudden, tires screeching.
And yeah, convertible comes pulling up, and I remember as a kid, it was borderline, she almost got ran over. It didn't seem as urgent this time.
Yeah.
Watching it as an adult, but still enough, the idea of another seeming human to just kind of zip into the whole thing.
She met her guy. She met her guy that Regina wasn't going to take, and somebody that she was crushing on at the moment. She laid eyes on him.
Yeah,
right?
and so and
they went off.
And he's just like, hey, you want to go for a ride? And yeah, Regina going full mom, and she's just like, you're just going to hop into the car with a stranger? I'm thinking, you almost made it with Hector after meeting him for like 2 hours ago. She's like, we don't even know his name. Oh, what's your name?
She made it with the projectionist for $15.
Yeah, really?
That she didn't even get.
Who's now? Granted, it was a coworker, but still. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but yeah, she ends up getting the guy's name, and and she's like, all right, well, just make sure you're home by midnight.
Yeah.
And all that, and you see them take off, and what was the dude's name, though? Kind of important.
It was a 3 name. It's Mason.
Like Daniel something.
Daniel James Mason or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, we're going to pause this.
Danny Mason Keener.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, which is only important because as they pull away, he's got apparently he didn't steal a car. He still had his car with him. Drives off with the vanity plate of DMK.
Yeah. So he was the DMK.
He was the one that dethroned
Red
6th place on Tempest in that movie theater. Yeah. And kind of triggering Regina a little bit. And then, they ride off into the sunset. You got the family just kind of hanging out in the middle of the street, watching them go bye-bye, and then roll credits.
It was nice to go back and watch Night of the Comet. I mean, it's fun.
It's far from Oscar worthy, but yeah, it's just fun 80s cheese.
I didn't know that Heather Langenkamp actually tried out for the role of Samantha.
Yeah, and apparently when Catherine was doing her read at the audition, it was with Heather. And apparently it was either she didn't meet Kelly or she didn't know Kelly got the gig until they were pretty much ready to start shooting. Like, she found out last minute. Like, I guess based on the read, she thought Heather was going to be Samantha.
Isn't this weird how things just play out? Because obviously, if she gets that role, she doesn't get the part of Nancy.
She's not available. And
she's not available to be Nancy, I'm assuming.
I thought I heard it somewhere, but I don't know for sure. Obviously, because I know Wes said tons of people audition.
Yeah.
I thought I heard, I think yesterday, trying to do some research, that Kelly auditioned for Nancy.
Oh, wow. Imagine that. I just think that I think the roles were right for what was ended up happening.
I really want to see that swapped.
I see that swap. It'd be different.
But I don't think either of them would have worked the same.
No, and I don't think they would have came off as cult as they were in the roles that they became known for.
Yeah, because as much as I love Kelly, I definitely think Heather brought, I don't know, there was just something she brought to Nancy that I think just made it work that much more.
Kelly can pull off the innocent.
Although
right?
I think
that
aesthetically, I think Heather would have worked better as Regina's sister. Like,
yeah, I could see
visually,
that.
I think they would have looked. Maybe it's just the dark hair thing, but I think as a whole,
that would have been a role. If she was in the movie, she would have
looked more like sisters.
Nancy would have been. Nancy Heather Langenkamp would have been better suited as Regina. I would agree with that.
Like I said, whether she would have played the role as well, I don't know. No. But like I said, if I saw the two of them standing together on screen, like I just going visually, I feel like that would have sold better as sisters. But like I said, the chemistry that Kelly brought that they both brought to it, like I said, as much as I'd love to see that alternate universe where they got the opposite roles, I don't want that to be like canon. I like the way it played out. I think they both were masters at the roles they ended up with.
Absolutely.
I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have my own little dream of, what would those movies have looked like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy how things play out, and what we wouldn't have had Heather, and maybe that didn't work. That wouldn't have worked out if they would have casted somebody else for Nancy.
Yeah, because again, I remember I think Wes said dozens of people tried out for Nancy. And apparently it was Heather's whole thing of the screech is what put it over the top for her. And she just really had that, suburban girl next door look about her.
Right.
Everything about that worked. And same thing with this movie. I think Kelly just brought, a playfulness to Samantha that I don't know if Heather would have done that.
She pulled off the Valley Girl.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
And maybe I was just blinded by the whole half the movie she's in a cheerleader's outfit. Right. But both those movies worked out the way they played out.
The movie was set on December 13th and 14th. So the pre-recorded tapings on the radio station mentions 11 days until Christmas. So
right.
that's where I ended up, I guess, seeing that piece. So it wasn't really up till Christmas, right around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It's around Christmas time, which I'm assuming that's why the movie was actually filmed, right, around Christmas and Christmas Eve so they can get the dead shots of the city.
Yeah.
And that's so they played it right. I mean, like I said, the movie was made for $700,000. It grossed at that time over $14 million. So between that and the marketing, I mean, they made out well. And it kind of disappeared for a while, right? Until it came back.
Yeah, it did respectable. They definitely got their money back in theaters and all. But apparently it wasn't until video where it completely blew up.
Right.
But
I wasn't around. So
but until you mentioned it, I said, but again, probably because I had access to it between HBO and then just having my own semi-alleged copy. I don't know if it's that I never saw it in a video store or if it was just because I had it, I didn't need to look for it. And just so many other movies stood out. Because, I mean, the artwork for it wasn't overly memorable.
No, the artwork wasn't memorable at all, even the video box for it. But the movie came out, it did respectable in video stores and whatnot. It disappeared, and then it kind of came back, right? I mean, that's how I take it, is that it's not like 10, 15 years ago I was going to horror conventions and talking. I guess it's a little bit different with streaming now. Streaming's way different. and what's available to us, right? So we have things that weren't available to us as for me growing up, and obviously over the last 15 years that things have changed. So I've been introduced to stuff I never knew about, or I never had an opportunity to watch it.
Yeah.
And this was one of those that I totally missed out on it, and I was like, shit, when did this come out? And did I miss this and whatnot? And yeah, I did. I'm not.
Well,
I don't know everything about all the horror movies that are every single one out there, but
well, it came out November 16th, 1984. Yeah, I was just curious to look it up. So opening weekend it came out as number 3, only being beat out by the Chuck Norris Missing in Action.
Yeah, and that's when Terminator was out too, right?
Oh God, You Devil.
Oh, George
beat
Burns,
it out.
right?
I am itching to watch it again so bad, because that's another one I watched the shit out of.
Was Thomas C. Howell, and was he in it?
I don't think so.
He wasn't the one in George Burns. Who else? It was somebody else with George Burns, right? It was George Burns, right?
George Burns played God and Devil in this one.
Okay.
I don't I could picture the other people in the movie, but I don't remember who they were. But yeah, my dad actually took us to go see that in the theater, and it was just awesome. Oh yeah, Ron Silver was in it. I forgot about that.
So you went to go see this one in the movies?
Yeah, my dad took us to go see that. I don't know if it was opening weekend, but it's funny. I don't remember shit about Oh God. I don't remember shit about Oh God Book 2, but I watched the hell out of this one.
Yeah, maybe I was thinking of 18 again. And that
Okay.
wasn't even Thomas C. Howell. I thought it was something along those lines. But yeah, I think that was right after that. And that's when George Burns was starting to veer off to his career, finishing out.
Yeah. Starting to enjoy life and, just go full-time cigars.
And that was Terminator was out at the same time too, I think.
So yeah, so opening weekend for Night of the Comet, it got almost 3.6 million opening weekend. That was third place. Fourth place at 2.8 million was the Terminator. Now granted, that was already out for
several weeks.
Yeah, that was already out for a few weeks. Nightmare on Elm Street was number 10 that week, but again, that was already out for a while.
Right.
Then you also had Amadeus. I gotta watch that again. I haven't seen that since fucking high school.
Oh, Amadeus.
I remember seeing that. That was just movie day one year, all 12 hours of it. And I just remember enjoying it a lot.
We watched Amadeus, I think, in school.
Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night was number 12 that week. Ghostbusters was number 14.
Linnea.
But again, these movies were out.
They were already out for several weeks.
That was probably their last week in theaters.
Right. Yeah, so that's when shit released in the summer, September.
Karate Kid.
Right, so that's the stuff that already was making money. But hey, this drew people in because this was PG-13 too, right?
I don't remember, because I know 84 is about when PG-13 became a thing, but I don't remember.
It was on the fence. It wasn't R. It was PG-13.
But there really wasn't a lot going on.
No.
You got the Teddy shot, you got the underwear shot. There wasn't other than the blood. It had blood in a medical sense, but
right.
It wasn't gory. There weren't
and
bloody
the zombies
kills.
And the zombies were. Zombies. They were half-turned zombies, exactly where you got them. And
it was basic but effective.
Yeah,
makeup. Which why it didn't shock me when you said they actually got LAPD to come fill in for the zombie cop and all. Because not saying just slap on this mask, but like I said, the makeup was just basic enough that to do something like that. Hey, sit in this chair for 2 hours and we'll have you made
here's a
up.
quick prosthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't Samantha Scafidi level makeup work.
Oh no, it wasn't Vicky.
So. Yeah, I mean, again, it performed well, and yeah, it just feels and it is one of those movies.
It had a great soundtrack too. That was also the times where soundtracks were big, right? They came out, you were drawn, you heard the sound, some of the tracks, you were drawn to go to the movies. And then everybody, it was a talking thing. Oh, did you go see this and this movie and this song was playing?
Yeah.
And the Night of the Comet soundtrack ended up becoming really big at the same time.
And I feel I don't know, yeah, it just felt organic. Again, Oh God, You Devil. I remember a lot of the music from that movie, and I haven't seen it, so if that came out in 84, I haven't seen Oh God, You Devil. Maybe the last time I saw it was 86. Wow. Yet I remember some of the music from it, and I feel in the 2000s, Scream came out, and then late 90s and into the 2000s, you had this new wave of horror movies, a lot of meta shit. But I felt like, especially in the early 2000s, there was a lot of, it felt like they were trying to bring that back, but they kind of forced it.
Right.
Like they went hard on the soundtracks for like even Freddy vs. Jason. It definitely had a good soundtrack and all, but it almost felt like they were focusing too hard on that.
Oh yeah.
Now,
I think that's,
maybe I was just young and naive, but in the 80s, I don't know, it just felt like it was more organic. Like you got the music in the movie and all, and it just became memorable. Whereas, like in the 2000s, like, oh yeah, here's this famous band. Like, oh yeah, let's put this Creed song in fucking H2O because Creed's a big deal now.
To me, I think after like The Faculty, I think kind of went downhill. Like I always remember that soundtrack.
That does feel like the last. Maybe it just played that way in my head, but I feel like that was the last organically good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like they just curated like great music for that movie. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything since then. Like I said, not to say there wasn't good music in movies, but it almost felt kind of like, we got this movie coming out, but check out this soundtrack.
But the 80s was built off that.
Yeah.
Everything, even during the summer, like everything coming out that
there
summer.
Was just better music then?
There was, there was a fuck ton of music, but they were able to get a lot of people that were coming up to do soundtracks.
Yeah.
To do scores on the soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think drew a lot of us in, right? And we see a lot, we go back and we listen to some of these albums, we're like, oh shit, this person did a track on this movie and stuff like that. And obviously they're paying little money, and some of them make it, some of them don't.
Yeah.
Or some of them rip off I Want a New Drug and they make the song Ghostbusters. You know, either way, they became memorable for their own reasoning.
Yeah. And even something like this, like, all right, girls just want to have fun. Now, granted, they didn't get the original and all, but it was still a new enough song.
Well, they didn't want to pay for Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to pay the rights for her, so they got somebody else to do this.
Yeah, they got the licensing for the song itself, just not that.
They had it covered by somebody else.
It
was fun. It was a good cover of the song that I always remember. I kind of hate hearing girls want to have fun, but I'll listen to it's the same lyrics and it's the same. It's just a different voice. I like some of this. The people do covers and stuff. So to me, when I watch this is like I've watched this 4 or 5 times. This movie since I saw it for the first time 10 years ago. Yeah, it's different, and I like it, and I like listening to it.
Yeah, and like going back to The Faculty, or going ahead to The Faculty, like something like that, like the whole brick in a wall thing, like that version was fucking amazing. But
yeah, Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yeah, she's a thing.
For me, I always remember her from Weekend at Bernie's playing Gwen.
Yeah,
right. To me, I thought this movie, and I don't, like I said, I was a couple years old when this movie came out. I guess I assumed, like, why didn't she become bigger? Then I know she got big at certain roles, and I'm not saying anything about Weekend at Bernie's was like 1989, right, when that came out, and then she became relevant again in certain. But it's kind of like, why was it Julia Roberts and why wasn't Catherine Mary Stewart, right? Why? Because she's adorable, she's pretty, she's witty, she's funny at times,
and she's good.
She's I mean, I love her character when I see her in a movie, but it was just like she was in a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. She was in Days of Our Lives. She was doing a lot of things leading up to Night of the Comet.
Yeah, I was going to say she had an acting career going into this.
And what was Night of the what was the same movie that came out the year that she did? Fuck.
I've only heard about it like 45 times.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
So the Last Starfighter came out that year, and I get that wasn't such a great movie, but this.
Are you nuts?
Listen, I really would have thought.
Fucking Death Blossom, man.
I really would have thought at that time, her career probably would have taken off, and she didn't do anything crazy, right? I mean, she was in some horror stuff here and there, and I'll always remember. I watch Weekend at Bernie's all the time. I mean, why wouldn't you when it comes on?
Yeah.
And she plays Gwen, right? And was she as easy in this as she was in Night of the Comet? Oh, maybe, but listen. I just think, like, why wasn't her career propelling after this, like some of the other people that propelled? It's
knows?
weird.
Maybe she pulled away because, like I said, she
could have.
She's
one I want to meet at a convention and kind of meet and talk to her.
And I feel like she's been one of the ones we were at, like, in the last year or two.
She's been to a lot of them. I know she was doing one for Night of the Comet, especially for the 40 year.
Yeah.
And definitely one that I would want to meet and kind of talk to.
Like I said, I feel like one of the relatively recent ones that we went to, she was at, and I forget what I what I was distracted by, but yeah, I'm guessing that had to be what it was. Like, I think now starting tomorrow, I'm gonna do some research into it, because I now I am curious. Not that I'm losing sleep over it, but I'm guessing she probably had a busy enough career. Maybe she just walked away. Like, you know what? I'm good. I made my money. Now I'm just gonna live life. Or who knows? Maybe because I'm guessing by the late '80s, early '90s, Weinstein had enough power, and maybe she was like, "Fuck that."
I think I would have thought her career would have been a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying I don't remember a lot of roles that she had outside of some theater moments, but it's not like she jumped off the screen like other people I've seen have bigger careers after. She was kind of trending that way, and I thought that she would have had a bigger career when you go back and look at her credits, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
But either way, she did this, and she's still getting them royalties from this, because kind of how you said, kind of dipped off for a while, and then it got that cult following, and to the point where, yeah, it looks like her and Kelli like went on tour for the 40th anniversary last year, and just I don't think she needs to act anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah,
and see what she's doing.
She looks great. I mean, even
because maybe that's just my fantasy, that maybe it was I'm good and just walked away from it, or who knows, maybe she did something stupid and got blacklisted, or who knows.
Yeah.
Or maybe she didn't do something because she's smart,
right,
and got blacklisted.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's people's careers and what they do. I was curious, like, why didn't I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, I thought she did great in certain roles, right? And I just thought, like, okay, well, she's attractive, she's funny.
Yeah,
she's got certain parts of this movie, like, where it just you crack up. Like, she played the role great, along with Kelli Mallroney as Samantha. Like, they played off their sisters well. The movie's enjoyable for what it's worth. There is some slow points of the build in the movie.
Yeah, because it's weird, because it did kind of focus more on their relationship,
right?
The two of them, more than it's considered a horror, but it's not like, oh my god, it wasn't scary, and again, it wasn't bloody.
I remember
it was just a good time.
In Search of Darkness, they brought this movie up too.
Yeah, I mean, it was horror in the sense of, like, again, you're dealing with sort of zombies, in the apocalypse.
Apocalyptic times. You got two teenage girls,
red air,
that are
living in LA.
Yeah, that are left on Earth. That are what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And it was just funny because the certain aspects that you gear yourself towards in the 80s was the mall, the radio, right? Your friends, your family, and hanging out and shit. And
yeah, and even though it was played off in like a playful way, and now thinking about it, in a sense, it almost reminds me of like The Walking Dead. Of it's technically the end of the world. There are some humans out there, but now it's who do you trust and all that. But it was, like I said, just a fun 80s execution of it all.
Oh yeah.
But again, going back to like the Stockboy, the Stockboy crew there. If anything, again, as like a 13-year-old, like, he terrified me.
Right.
It was, I guess, again, because it was that pale face with the glasses.
Yeah. So, do you ever see the guy from the freaked out, the one from Burnt Offerings, the hearse driver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's always that always reminded me of some of that guy.
Yeah, I actually, until it came up in that episode, I completely forgot about that guy. But as soon as you mentioned, I'm like, oh shit, maybe that's what it was. Although I don't think I saw Burnt Offerings at that point. So, what would you rate this movie?
I think for me, I would give it like a 6 out of 10. If we're going off of 10, right?
Yeah. There he is. That's like the older version.
Yeah, that's the older. The kid just looks like the hearse driver from Burnt Offerings, right? Yeah, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I think the story was what it was. It's the end of the world. Like I said, some points were a little bit slow, but it picked up. They had to tell a story about their relationship and what was going on and where they were headed and interacting with people. And there was also a backstory too with the scientists that they had to bring back in, right? So they're bringing that in. And they had to keep it. You had to keep it in your forefront that there's something going on.
You had to bring in the professionals that at least had a clue as to what was going on.
Right. And some of it's kind of like, yeah, there's supposed to be like some of them turning. I just wish that there might have been some more of that zombie action, like seeing some more of them and maybe having interactions with them and fighting them off and trying to getting away from them and whatnot. It played off fine. Like I said, it's about a 6 out of 10 for me, maybe a 6.5. Like it was fun to go back and watch it again recently because I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The soundtrack was great. Just that feel like, hey everybody, this is Danny C from EDFAP Radio. It's a warm day and it's Christmas time. It's 11 days away. Here's a new song by Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. You know. How about you, Dave? What do you give it?
I was actually thinking about this all day today, but yeah, that's about where I fall. Like on this rewatch, I would give it like a hard 6. I don't know if I could push fully to a 6.5, but definitely a 6. Now, if I were to just go on pure nostalgia, it's like a 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, watching it now, like I liked it. Like it's still a good time. Like I said, with all the shit I've seen since then. Yeah, there's nothing remotely scary about like this would almost work as like a gateway if you were trying to get somebody into horror. This is one to test the waters. It's horror in the sense of the situation of the movie.
Yeah, I think Disney has,
but nothing scary really happens.
Yeah, Disney I think has some more horror elements.
Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
Dark Crystal was scarier than this.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, it's still a good time. Definitely
41 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And like I said, it still holds up. Like I said, I definitely liked it a lot more as a kid. Could have been for other reasons, but still, it was. I liked it. Yeah. It's still a good movie.
Where are we at with this? I'm just curious because
we're still in the basement.
Broadcast completed. You've been listening to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. Be sure to come on down to excellentdayforapodcast.com where you'll find our entire catalog. And for your convenience, every episode contains a link where you can text the nerds. Want to throw some praise? Some critique? Perhaps you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see us tackle. But while you think about that, you could also check out the connections to all of our socials, including our YouTube channel. Give all them a visit. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with everybody you know. And for those feeling a little extra generous, there's also a button where you can support the show in other ways. Every bit of support helps. Well, that's it for this episode. And remember, stay creepy and keep talking some damn horror.